Hey fellas, just a quick bench update on this Panda Cougar JERRV. Okay, so I have been getting a lot of questions. A lot of people been sharing my photos on various Facebook pages, which I'm pretty honored that people actually do like this build, and I'm actually pretty happy with the way it's turned out. Okay, so being someone who doesn't really build modern vehicles, I thought I'd give this one a crack, and surprisingly it's turned out quite good. So what I want to talk about is how I actually painted this. Okay, so if you go to the Cougar, the Panda Cougar, the JERRV photo album on Outback Mini Models Facebook page, there is a link up the top in the banner. Just says Outback Mini Models Facebook. You just click on that link and you find the album. But I'll probably I'll try to put the link in the description box down below so you can have a good look at the build photos. It slowly gets updated as I go, so there's not much more to go on this vehicle until I can call this complete. But all I've got left to do is I've got to install the windscreen wipers. Okay, as you can see here, they're not in yet. They're still on the sprue, so I've got to cut those out, clean them up, and then glue them on. I'm not going to dirty this vehicle up at all. It's all. I'm just going to maybe add some light dusting to the tires, but I'll talk about that in a second. But what I want to talk about just right now is the colors I did use. Okay, so for the base color, you'll notice that it does have a gray base to it, a brown base to it. Okay, didn't use any primers. I just basically used the XF10 flat brown. I use this as a primer. I don't really use primers at all in my models now. I just use Tamiya paint and just gave it a quick base coat of this to cover the entire vehicle. Okay, and then the second color I used was the Desert Yellow XF59. Okay, these aren't factory Tamiya bottles, as you know. These all are decanted and pre-thinned with the Mr. Hobby Aqueous thinners. Okay, and it works quite well with these Tamiya paints. They don't go chalky when I do lay these colors down, so it does give a bit of time to flatten out a bit. So that's something to think about if you do having that chalky effect, that blackboard effect, that real rough finish that Tamiya paints generally do give you in hot environments like where I do live here in Australia. And then for the post shading or post highlighting stages, I just use this XF57 buff. Okay, and it's got a little bit of white through it just to brighten it up. Okay, and these are the three colors I predominantly use when I'm spraying the Desert Yellow colors. Okay, so basically it's a modern US vehicle set as pretty much as I grab these three colors now. What I'm doing, I did use this on the D9R as well, these three colors. So that's those. The rubber, okay, so I didn't do anything to the tires. They're just factory out of the box, left as they were. You can see that they're really dark on the top, but just ran over with an airbrush last night with the XF58 rubber black. Okay, and these are also pre-thinned the same way. Then just sprayed straight over the surface of the tire just to give it a real matte, realistic looking color, okay, of a tire. So you can see there it's got a very natural rubber look. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some kind of, I don't know yet, I'm tossing up whether I do or not. I probably won't. That's probably what I'm more leaning towards. The decals are on, very fiddly. There's a lot that are missing. I've been talking to a good friend of mine who actually did write the training manual for this vehicle in the United States, and I just got off video chatting with him. So Brennan, thank you very much for spending the time in talking to me regarding this build. He did point out that the lights, the spotlights, work lights I should call them, depends on where you're from what you call them, used on this vehicle, Panda has actually included the aftermarket lights that they would have put on this vehicle, as he did mention that the lights themselves are quite useless on the vehicle in operations. Also, he did mention that to me, but if you are going to build this vehicle, is probably realistically leave these off if you are going to build this vehicle, because he did say these do weigh like 600 something pounds, and it's pretty unpractical to, you know, for a soldier to be lifting this off the wheel. So they would have used like a wrecker vehicle, either to tow this vehicle back to the forward operations base to change the wheels over, and they just wouldn't have carried these on the side. Like, yes, they just leave them off if you're going to build this off. So the next time I do build this another MRAP Cougar, is I'm going to leave this off. So just to have the racks just there on their own, and then the Vic. And also he did mention that during an explosion, if the vehicle did run over a IED, that the tire would have caught on fire, and it would have almost been impossible for the crew to escape the vehicle. So yeah, for that reason, leave the spare tires off. These are on both sides of the vehicle. So if I do just rotate, if I can get this around and rotate the vehicle, you can see on the other side there is another spare tire also there as well. Okay. Also, what else did he mention as well? I mean, that was pretty much it that he did. Just the small, it was sort of had a decent chat, but that was mainly the things that he did pick out. So he did say if I am going to build another one, just to leave those off. And he wasn't really counting my work, so I was asking him to be critical of my work and what I should do next time, and that's what he mentioned. You look at the photos. I did post up a photos of before and after, mentioning that I wasn't happy with the overall color of the Cougar. And it does say that I do have to custom mix my own filter. Okay, and that's it there. Okay, just had an old spare Tamiya quick setting glue that has expired. It's run out. I've used it all, so just put a bit of masking tape and just called it modern US filter. So we'll be using this for the future builds when it does come time to build the Assault Breacher, the Abrams, the Max Pro by Kinetic, and also the M2A3 Bradley by Meng, the full interior. So I will be using this as a filter for these vehicles. So it's handy to have, because I just didn't have a filter that was suitable for the job. But talking about that, using these two, okay, so I'll just move this out of the way for a second so you can see. Just using these two, it's a Mr. Hobby WC07, the greyish brown, and the this one of the new colours, the Mr. Hobby spot yellow. It's just a filter, and I mix these roughly 50-50. Okay, it's not exactly 50-50, guys. I just sort of had to, you can see there's a little bit of residual here in this plastic tray, and I was testing underneath the vehicle just to see if the color's suitable, and I kept fine-tuning it, just a bit more yellow or maybe a bit more grey, until I was happy with the end result, and that's the result that I got. So I was pretty stoked how it turned out. Okay, so, and then just diluted quite a fair bit with the dissolvent. Okay, it's just the odorless thinners that Mr. Hobby do supply as well. So it's not really aggressive on the paint and also the glue, so I shouldn't have too much worries about eating through the plastic and eating through the paint. And I was very careful to not apply too much around the door hinges down here, because yeah, if you guys know, you use an aggressive thinners on your parts, especially on delicate parts, are going to fall off. So that's pretty much the bench update, guys. I've still got a little bit more to go. Still got some pin washing to do. I still got to paint the machine gun that's on there, as well as just touch up the brackets around there to go on top of that. And there's a few touch-up things that I'm not happy with. I've got to try and get it somehow, either try and snap this part off down here, or carefully paint inside there, because with that on there, I might be able to get the airbrush down there and spray it. So I mean, guys, that's the bench update on this Panda Cougar. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the reveal video. Have a great weekend as usual. Happy modeling, and I'll see you in the next video. See you guys. Catch up.